Good morning, everybody. Today we are talking about Path to Nowhere events and their stories. We're going to start with the first event that released, and then we're going to go all the way through all of the events as they came to global servers until we end on the current event currently available, Shin's event. I actually don't know what Shin's event is called now that I'm thinking about it. But then after we finish the events, then we'll go through the main story chapters themselves, but let's do the events first. Starting off, we have Raging Sands. Raging Sands, it was Path Nowhere's first event, and they were definitely still figuring out the ropes, mostly in accordance to the gameplay. But the story itself, there's a lot of oddities, a lot of main characters that weren't given a name. It was like Bandit Leader, but Bandit Leader had like half the dialogue. They really could have just given the Bandit Leader a name instead of calling him Bandit Leader the entire event. But there's multiple oddities like that I can't really point at each individual one. But when you put them all together, it definitely felt a little amateurish, little amateurish. That being said, the story itself was really compelling. It was very unique. It was very well told. You didn't really see any of the twists coming, and the twists, they all made sense. And I was pleased with the event. I wasn't like amazed by it or anything, but you know, for Path Nowhere's first event, I was like, okay, y'all are cooking. Let's see what y'all can do. And then I stuck around. Right, I was barely able to finish this event when it first came out. Oh my god, this shit was hard on a brand new roster. But immediately after that, they went ahead and dropped Dreamy Bubble. And Dreamy Bubble, oh my god, this is why I fell in love with Path to Nowhere. Dreamy Bubble was so goddamn good that I cannot describe my initial reaction to Dreamy Bubble. All the cursing that Hella did, Doyle, the incredible Doyle writing, oh my god. And Serpent, how she was like so elusive. You had the whole skit with Ruleka and Mess. And like, how do you have a story piece as good as Dreamy Bubble, like the actual story itself, with wanting to put everybody into a peaceful slumber and all of that, and still like maintain the whole like Ruleka arc in the middle of that, like an actual sub story within the overarching story, so you can see just how impactful these dreams are. I could talk about Dreamy Bubble forever. Amazing event. It's probably the best story in any video game I've ever read. I take that back. There's one or two stories in video game history that is better than Dreamy Bubble, but Dreamy Bubble is really high up there. Definitely top 5 video game stories of all time, in my opinion. No bias at all or anything like that. Next up, we have Discars. Oh, Dreamy Bubble was Serpent's event, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Next up is Discars. Discars was Owo's event with Darren. And this was a fan favorite. People loved this event. And if I was going off of like community ratings, I would put it up here. Masterpiece, Writing Transcending Beyond, AAA titles. But I wasn't as big of a fan of Discars as other people were. Felt a little disconnected. The like twist at the end that we were helping Owo figure everything out the entire time felt a little disconnected. But there were still a lot of really good moments with the ducks. That was very good comedic relief. It was still a compelling story. Darren's involvement was a bit of a miss for me, especially when she was like recording off her phone at the end, and like that was her masterpiece directory. Like, I don't know. There were some odd vibes to it, and because there's a little bit of strangities, I'm gonna put it in near perfection because it was really close to Dreamy Bubble. But the pacing and the context was a little off. Most of the context being like Darren's involvement, all of that. Like I thought Darren was an imposter when she first showed up. I was like, oh, the greatest director in all of East Side is like a hobo sleeping inside of a van. Like it felt off, right? It wasn't the best, but the story itself was really good, really compelling, and I'm glad they did what they did with the comedic relief in the ducks. And like, using that to like ensure the ducks throughout all other future events. Incredible. Good job, Anzo. Good job. Then we have Night of Wonders. Oh. Okay, so this was a terrible event, okay? The event itself was so bad that it turned new players away. But we're not talking about the event itself. We're talking about the event's story. And the event story started off like right up there with Dreamy Bubble. The first half before you meet Infer, where you're like listening to all the banter between the sinners. You're listening to Labby banter. You're listening to EMP banter. You're like seeing all the horror stories come to life within the museum. Those character-to-character interactions were amazing. But then when you get to the story itself, like actually revolving around Infer and Sosa, I think it was Sosa, her statue, it started to like lose its kick. It kind of, the story itself didn't make too much sense, and it really fell off the rails as soon as like they went away from the random banter at the start. And because half of it was godlike and the other half was bad, I'm gonna put it in it's okay. Really great first half when they're like not doing the story at all, but as soon as the story kicks in, it kind of missed. And then we have Eddie. Oh god, this one was bad. I wanted this one to be good. Eddie's event was Dragon of Isles. It was themed after Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm a Dungeons and Dragons fan. I've played a few times back in my day. I've been a dungeon master. I've rolled some d20s. Okay, I know a thing or two about Dungeons and Dragons. That being said, this event was bad. Replaying the same thing over and over and over again, and then like each time it's just more repetitive, and you get less information, and like the story didn't make much sense at all. They barely talked about Eddie at all. It was just Dragon of Calamity nonsense, and like it was bad. And it was so bad that it turned new players away. It's close to me putting it not a fan, but it was bad. Drea's it was good. Spoilers, this happened while Chief was in a coma, and kind of adding on to what was happening in like the actual world while Chief is in a coma. Like they did a really good job of continuing the storyline, even though the Chief is literally comatose. Right? It's a Chief POV while the Chief is comatose. It's incredible that they managed to tie it in, and it was a really good continuation of the story. That being said, while it was really good and I really enjoyed it, there was nothing that really made it pop. There's nothing that makes me go, oh, Drea's event? Like, I didn't have that reaction. I was like, yeah, that's good storytelling, and I'm glad they have it. But there was no, like, eventful revelation or twist or anything like that. It was just a good story. And sometimes you need like those good story staples, and that's what Drea's event was. Then we go to Adela's event. Adela's event was really good. Adela's event was really good. I forget what it's called, thinking back on it. But this was the whole arc where people were losing their memories. It turns out Adela was snipping their memories with a giant pair of scissors. And she ended up escaping. She took down like an entire MBCC attack helicopter by herself. Crazy. And then she ended up snipping everyone's memories, and like fading into the darkness. It's like never to be seen again. And it was really well done, and like giving the Chief like memory loss to enslave her, or not enslave her, to trap her in the area. Really, they did a really good job setting the setting, and a really good job describing Adela's unfortunate situation. And I felt like it was a really well done, like, mini horror, mini mystery. And while I liked it, there was a lack of that like, oh, pop factor. There was no like, holy crap, I can't believe blank happened. It was very easy to tell what was going to happen next. It was very predictable. And because it was so predictable, I'm going to put it in the good category. really close to being near perfection, but there was no like story twist. There was nothing that made it exceptionally memorable because like everything that happened in the event you kind of knew was going to happen from the start. But it was really good storytelling all the same. Letta's involvement felt a little bit forced. Like she didn't really do anything in the event. She was just kind of there. But aside from Letta, this event was really good. Just lacking sort of hook, a sinker, a punchline. It was just good, staple. Okay, moving on to Cabernet's event, the Fiesta. I love the Fiesta. The Fiesta was great. I'm not gonna say it was masterpiece transcending beyond AAA titles, but the setting and the music, oh my god. Okay, so I know this is about the story and not the music, but the music of Cabernet's event was so damn good that it got you in the mood. Got you in the mood for the story. Okay, and like setting that mood and then delivering on the story factors as well as they did, I really enjoyed this event and it was near perfection to me. It's a little weird with people turning into food. Like that kind of lost some players, and like some players were like struggling to follow along with like, okay, why are they turning into fruit? What's happening with these people? Why are they disappearing? Like what's going on here? And it honestly, it didn't really make that much sense. I mean, it kind of did if you like viewed it from like an abstract art kind of way, but if you're looking at it from like a rational brain sort of way, it kind of like fell off the hinges a little bit. But I think that's okay when you're talking about like mania powers to the degree that they're happening in Cabernet's story. I liked it. And then we go to Rain Burst and Flora Unfurl. Rain Burst is part 1, Flora Unfurl is part 2. Rain Burst was incredible, and you will not change my mind. I said that Dreamy Bubble was top 5 of all video game stories of all time because Rain Burst and Flora Unfurl are the best. These two hold first place. And oh, I struggle so hard to say which one was better. I really, really do. But I think the twists and turns that came from Shalom's interrogation and how enriched that was into Flora Unfurl, I have to put Flora Unfurl above Rain Burst, but they're so damn close. They're practically the same event, right? Rain Burst and Flora Unfurl, it's a combo meal, right? But oh my god, this shit was so good. And this is what kind of brought Path Nowhere back into the spotlight, releasing Shalom, because Shalom was so well written. It drove so, I mean, if you go look through Path Nowhere fan art, you're going to see Shalom everywhere. Shalom is like one of the most popular characters, and she's not even like, she doesn't have the, I don't know how else to say it. She doesn't have the horny bait that some of the other characters do, right? People loved Shalom for the character, for the sinner herself. Not because, like, horny bait, right? There are some characters that are like that, right? You know, looking at you, Corn, all right? We all know what you're doing there. But these two were so good that people just love Rahu and Shalom and even Koklik for like who they are rather than like their appearance or their attitude. Like it was just so well told. I can't believe I found like this level of writing in a gacha game. Path Nowhere is an incredible game. What can you say? Hunting Shade, Mantis's event. It was good. I think Drea's was better. Yeah. Going back to Raging Sands for a second, like if you're Raging Sands is at like the very bottom of good. If you're worse than Raging Sands, then you're just like okay or worse. But I think Hunting Shade was better than Raging Sands. It was an enjoyable experience. There wasn't anything like crazy about it. Seeing how Mantis like killed her entire research team, that was a little rough to read about, kind of like hurt. Like watching Mantis drag everybody else down with her, whether she meant to or not. That was a little rough. But seeing the Mantis Queen kind of assimilate with Mantis, that was a really good, not necessarily a twist, but it was really good writing. It was very enjoyable to read. Okay, looking at 11's events. Ooh. Okay, 11's event had the best setting. Like, I love the setting, the world building, the like neon signs, the neon city, the goldfish and the computer, the Professor Goldfish. Um, the telephone. Oh my god, they had a secret telephone, and if you like were a detective and you ran around through all of the writing and found all the different telephone numbers, you could like call them and like find out some really cool shit. It was a really well done event. That being said, the event was kind of bad. The whole premise of the event was that Eleven couldn't talk. And it's really hard to have a story when the main character doesn't say anything. So it's a real close to being an amazing story. But if they wanted it to be an amazing story, they had to let the main character talk. So they kind of missed the mark, but the setting was so good and the premise was so compelling that it still remains good, but it falls shy of near perfection. There's one too many flaws for it to be near perfection. All right, Eve's story. Ooh, Eve's story starts off so good. Like you turn into the doll and it's like actually a horror movie, and it's really nice. And you are actually like scared playing Eve's event, or I think it's called House of Horrors, something like that. It really, really good, engaging, captivating intro. And then at the end of it, like you're shrugging through like this haunted house. You are actually scared reading the story. And then by the end of it, you're crying because it's a sad ending. It is like the saddest ending in Path of Nowhere. And I got a few players into the game at the time because they were like, when they saw the event, they were actually sad, and they were like, oh my god, Path to Nowhere actually made me tear up a little bit. Like, what is this game? And they didn't even play Path to Nowhere, right? That's not their jam, but they got into it for a short while. You know, they played for a few months because this event was so good. And even though I'm not necessarily a fan of how it played out, I have to give props where they're due. I'm gonna go ahead and put Eve's story in near perfection. It was genuinely a really good story, and I can't really find too many flaws about it. It just doesn't keep up with like Dreamy Bubble and Flora Unfurl. It's really good. It's like really, really good. Don't sleep on this event. If you haven't read this one yet, go find it and read it. You're going to be scared at first, and then at the end of it, you're going to cry. Okay, if you want to cry, read this event. That's my advice to you. If you ever need to cry, you need like acting lessons on how to cry, just read this event. You'll figure it out. Okay, Lady Pearl's event. Oh, Lady Pearl's, the Fortuna event. It was such a good premise of everybody who attends the theater is an actor. And Lady Pearl's power is getting everybody to live out their best life acting, but they don't realize that they're acting. And the fact that everyone's doing what they want to do, really compelling. And like the chief couldn't really help in this scenario because she wanted to be the hero, but that fell right into Lady Pearl's trap of, oh, you have to save everybody, but and to do that you have to be the hero, but you want to be the hero. So therefore, like in my play, you are the hero. You doing what you have to do is exactly the trap that you're supposed to fall for. You're like going to slowly lose your soul and succumb to mania. And it was a really good premise. And then it just like never figured out how to get past Chief being the hero. Like it's like, okay, so Chief's the hero, but she can't be the hero. How do we solve that? Well, let's let her be the hero. There is no like, it just ended. We got like halfway through the story, it just kind of fizzled out and stopped being a story. It's okay. Better than Inverse Event. Just lost the sauce. Well, same thing as Inverse Event, right? Starts off really good, starts off really compelling, and you've got like real life an actual movie in Lady Pearl's event. There was a lot of work put into it. And the writing just stopped existing halfway through. I don't know what the fuck happened. Very, very odd. But it's okay because like you get really excited and then you find out that there's nothing there. It's like the season 8 of Game of Thrones, right? Like Game of Thrones is great for 7 seasons. And then like season 8 happened, and you're like, okay, what the fuck did I watch the first 7 seasons for? And you got the same thing from Fortuna. You're like, oh, this is a really cool event. And then you read the ending, it's like, okay, why the fuck did I waste my time? That's the story of Fortuna. Okay, moving on to Vanilla. Vanilla had a bunch of time perception fuckery that hurt people's brains. Hurt my brain, at least. I'm not. You guys might be smarter than me. It might not have hurt your brain, but it hurt my brain. And just like the other Eternal Nightmare events, like it was good, but it was missing like a hook, a plot line, a sinker, a punchline. It was missing that oomph. And because it's missing that oomph, I mean, better than Hunting Shade, right? Yeah, I'm gonna say better than Hunting Shade. It was good. Just a solid staple if you can make it past all the time fuckery. There's not much to say on it. It was just good, uneventful. Uneventful is a great way to say it. It was uneventful but good. Yao's story, or should I say Yan Yan's story? Like Yao's the cover art of Whatever They Soul, but Yan Yan's in like 80% of scenes. So this is Yan Yan's story. Yan Yan's story, man. So I'm personally not a fan of the setting itself. I don't like the Eastia themes all that much. It's just not my jam. Didn't like the Eastian sorcery. It felt like it was a cop out for like they didn't know what Eastians could bring to the table. So they're like, oh, sorcery, ha. They never really explained it. That kind of missed the mark a little bit. And I don't know. The core message behind it and like trying to show that like the old ways still have value. Like the old ancient ways still have value. It just didn't click with me. I'm gonna put it not a fan. I'm just genuinely not a fan of this event. If people put it in like good or maybe even near perfection, I'm not too surprised. But I don't know. It's follow Yan Yan around Dis City Simulator. That's all you're doing. You're just following Yan Yan around Dis City, and it's so weird that you're like at Dis City and then you're at the border of Dis City and you're in Dis City again, and you're going back and forth so quickly, even though it's like cataclysmic emergency to stop this thing from reaching the broken front line. And it's just like, how did you find so much time to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth? Oh, because we just followed Yan Yan around for a week. So, yeah. Next event, ooh, we're listening to the song right now, Diddy Night Song, Angels events. You know, I said that nothing beats Flora Unfurl and Rainburst. Like, this actually was like the best story writing of all time, but man, I hit my words once again. Diddy Night Song was so good. It was so fucking good. I couldn't believe how amazing this event was. I loved every ounce of Angel's character. They built so many strengths, they built in so many flaws, they had so much mystery, they had like real resolution, real twists. They had like this perfect like oh, I forget the hostage effect. Whatever the hostage effect is, you guys know what I'm talking about. It was so well done. Just the Diddy Night Song, the one you're listening to right now, Parallel Lines, is burned into my brain, and I am so sad that I can't play it as my home music. I know you can play one of the Diddy Night songs in the background. I forget which one it is. We're replaying Diddy Night Song, by the way. But it's just so good. And just listening to Diddy Night Song, I'm like, oh, Angel's about to go kill somebody. Like this. This is the shit right here. It's such a good event. I can't believe how good this event is. Okay, moving on to Bianca's event, Something Vote, Perfect Vote? Perfect Vote. Man, I've got to admit something, guys. I did not like the Dark Web arc. I know Diddy Night Song started the Dark Web art, like introduced the Dark Web as a concept. And then Perfect Vote kind of like started going down the storyline of nothing but Dark Web. But man, this event was bad. I did not like it. I wanted to like it. I liked Bianca. I liked her giddy personality, how happy she was. But man, it was just... I like the message behind it, right? You can't leave things up to public perception, public vote, because it's just so easily to sway people with like mass manipulation and like propaganda, right? Like, it kind of... There's a few parts that was like, okay, this is advocating for Chinese censorship, which, you know, you can get into censorship debates all you want, but it made for some good arguments, okay? Of just like how easily public opinion can be swayed. And it's true, right? It's pretty easy to sway public opinion. You read like a journal title that says, police kill mother of 5. And you're like, oh my God, how could they do that? And then it turns out the mother of 5 was like, I don't know, planning to blow up the president of Venezuela or something, right? Like, you can't do that. So it really showed like how easily it is to manipulate people. Kind of showcase that, and I like the core message behind it, but it was executed poorly in my opinion. And I'm going to put it at the bottom if it's okay. At the bottom, it's okay. The premise of it kind of saved it, but it wasn't really that well done. It's okay. Hestia's event. Man, people loved Hestia. And I hated Hestia. Hestia's event was complain, 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 mirror, complain, 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 mirror. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a Hestia fan. Leave the priestess behind. It just wasn't for me. Speaking of things that were not for me, man, I tried to like Into the Blue. And I'm gonna skip this song. I tried to like Into the Blue. And I am not kidding you when I say that I finished this event with like 20 minutes left to spare. Like the servers closed 20 minutes after I finished reading the story because I could not bring myself to read it. It was just so repetitive. It did the same thing as Lady Pearl's event. The same thing of like, oh, we're going to bring in everybody and they're going to live out their best lives, but them living out their best lives is their greatest downfall. The same exact thing as Lady Pearl's event. Like they just copy and pasted Lady Pearl's event, except they did it so much worse. Into the Blue like looked at every single individual sinner and had the same tale told from start to finish. Oh, I want to be a blank. Well, here's a blank. You're now perfect. You're now perfectly happy. Now you're trapped in my world. I want to be a blank. Oh, here's your blank. Now you're a blank. You're now trapped in my perfect world. Oh, I want to be a blank. Well, here's your blank. And now you're a blank. You're trapped in my perfect world. It was that like 8 times in a row. And to the point where like you knew what was going to happen the second a new character showed up. You knew that they were going to describe their perfect world. Their perfect world was going to be like magically created out of thin air. And they're going to be trapped within Elysium for the rest of the event. Like you knew it was going to happen. And then the twist at the end of it was the exact same twist from Lady Pearl's event. That like Chief wants to save everybody, but she can't because the trap is that because she wants to save everybody, that's how she gets trapped in the mania. And it was the same exact premise as Fortuna. They just copy pasted. And they did it so much worse. The storytelling was so bad and so repetitive, and like because we've already seen it, we knew exactly what was going to happen. It was bad. The worst event. This absolute. If this didn't turn new players away, I would be shocked. I would be like, LL didn't even sell that well, and LL is still the strongest character in the game. The strongest character in the game did not sell well because her event was just that bad. Okay. Moving on to Glitchwave Nihil, Zero's event. Zero's event was very on the nose. It was very fourth wall breaky. It like the entire premise of it was we're gonna break the fourth wall, and I didn't like it. Not a fan. I don't think it was so bad that it turned new players away. I think a lot of players enjoyed this event. But it was definitely like, you have to have a very certain taste. This event's very hit or miss. If it hit, you loved this event. If it missed, you're like, I hope they never do that again. And I'm part of the second category where I hope they never do Glitch Wave Nihil ever again. Okay, moving on to Corrin's events. To oh man, I wish I remember what this was called. It was Tuco's Son of a Gun. Is that what it's called? I'm googling it right now. Hold on. Corrin event PTN. No Gangs Land. Okay. Yeah, No Gangs Land. Son of a Gun is the name of the song. Okay, No Gangs Land. I love this event. This event was great. Corrin's my favorite sinner in the game. Okay, I'm just gonna say that straight up. The White Sands Swindler. Everything was really well done, and they did a phenomenal job with this event. Like incorporating Kella back into the story, introducing White Sands, introducing like their struggles and their troubles that they're having, while still having like really compelling side characters that you're like feeling genuine emotions for. Like the event was really well done and really captivating. That being said, the ending kind of ruined it a little bit, where it's like, oh, we had a mega super base this entire time. We weren't actually starving thieves. We're the best in the White Sands, and we do this all the time because we have this massive ship that can do anything. And the ending kind of killed it a little. Okay, like it kind of cheapened and softened the whole impact. That being said, like the interactions between Hella and Corrin were so damn good. I'm putting it in a masterpiece, transcending. Like, even though it has an obvious flaw, the rest of it is so damn good that it's still a masterpiece writing. Okay, I gotta skip the end of that song. Still masterpiece level writing. It is really just that good. Incredible event. Botair Blue, the Datura Blossoms. Solid events. I really liked the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, romance implications between Blue and Chief. Chief like slowly figuring things out, and Blue like letting her slowly figure things out was pretty neat. It was nice to see that the villain like knew exactly what was going to go on and was testing Chief the entire time, and they kind of like teamed up in the end and like did what was right. It was unique, I'll give them that, and I liked the direction they took. That being said, it wasn't the best event in the world. I'm gonna say it was good. I'm not gonna say it was near perfection. I'm gonna say it was good. It was better than Levin's event, that's for sure. Now we have Pilgia's. Pilgia's was good. I like Pilgia. Like, I don't like Pilgia as a character, as like a combat center, right? Like, and well, now that we have Shin, it's a different story. Like, Pilgia plus Shin is really good, but Pilgia on her own, even with like Duo, Pilgia is not great in combat. But her story is good, and I really, really liked this story. I think Pilgia's event was better than Discar's. Like, I loved Pilgia's event. I love Pilgia as like a character. It was really, really good in my opinion. Okay, Ying Ying's event. Oh my god. Okay, so remember when I said I didn't like Istia? Remember when I put Yan Yan's event right here? I'll be honest, I never finished reading this event. I completed the event. I get like all the rewards and everything, but I never finished reading it. I stopped caring. After like the 5th or 8th visit to the Wisteria tree, and like the Chief is still confused, like, why is the Wisteria tree blooming sometimes and not blooming others? What could this possibly mean? After like the 8th time of seeing the Chief like struggle with that comprehension, I just stopped paying attention, and I just mashed buttons until the story was over, and I am not a fan. I don't think it turned players away. I don't think it was that bad. I think it was just like a personal gripe that I had against it. I'd like to see what you guys have to say about that. Like, am I crazy for putting Ying Ying's event this far down? Because again, I didn't finish reading it, so I don't really know if there's a payoff that was worth like the really slow start. But for me, the writing was just so slow that I could not suffer through it all, and I never ended up finishing it. But again, let me know if I'm crazy. Like, please, I'd like to know if this event was any good. Just personally, me, I wasn't a fan. Okay, moving on to Graves. Graves' event was good. pretty standard, pretty straightforward. It's pretty weird how like there's no reason for Graves to be such like an abandoned kid. Like she was a monster, but like she wasn't a monster. She was, I don't know. Definitely weird. I liked how they had like the sheltered girl who didn't know how things worked, and she was like the villain the entire time. But she was also, even though she was a very clear villain, very clear threats, they still made her seem innocent and pure, and they did a really good job in that aspect. Again, it was a little on the predictable side, and because it was so predictable, I think it's very close to near perfection, but it's not quite at that level. It was very good. I enjoyed this. I heavily enjoyed this, but it's missing the oomph to bring it over the top. Hypatia's event was good, like real good. Loved his scars. I loved Hypatia's event. I might be biased here with like the White Sands event. I'm loving the White Sands event so far. Hela's interactions with Hypatia, Synex's interactions with everybody. Hypatia having like do I choose family or do I choose my own beliefs? And having like that internal struggle, while also struggling with like all the politics with civilians, with the Legion, with Synex, with her family. Like there's a lot going on in this event. Like political alliance wise, and it was really well done in my opinion. Near perfection for sure, amazing. And then the current event, Shin's event. Okay, I haven't finished it. Okay, the event's not over. Okay, I still have time to finish it, but I haven't finished it yet. I'm like halfway through, and let me tell you, it's got a slow start. It's got a real slow start where they're introducing you to a bunch of faceless names. Like everybody has a name, but they're all faceless characters because you know they're all gonna die. But they just they're dragging it out, and I do not like that the story is being dragged out as hard as it. I am putting it in not a fan category, but so far it's better than the Eastia stuff. I'll give it that much at least. Okay, and that's the tier list, my tier list rating, right? This is subjective, not objective. But this is, in my opinion, the best and worst stories in Path to Nowhere. But we still have the main story to go through. So I'm going to break this up into different sections. We're going to start off with chapter 1 and 2, the story regarding the gray-haired maiden. I don't think we ever learned her name, but like Ted strapped a mania bomb to her heart. Pretty tragic tale. This was like the opener, right? This is what gets people hooked on Path to Nowhere. And I think they did a pretty good job getting people hooked on Path to Nowhere. It was a really good, compelling story. It wasn't near perfection. It was good. They did a good job of like introducing mania and all the different threats and how it can corrupt people and how like sinners themselves, even though they are infected with mania, the sinners are not like corrupted themselves, right? They have mania, but they can still be pure of heart. Like a very good job, like very good event. Big fan. And then after that, we met Zoya and the rest of the Legion. This is before the Black Ring erupted, okay? So we're talking pre-Black Ring. And like finding the inheritance. I think that's what we did in the section in chapters 3 and 4, finding the inheritance. Meeting up with Zoya, shackling Zoya, the rest of the Legion, all of that. Wasn't as good, but it was still good. Better than the Eternal Nightmare stuff. It was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. The Black Ring itself, yeah, it was incredible. Zoya becoming corrupted, the Black Ring exploding, the stuff with that one soldier that I forget his name. But you guys all know the FAC captain that I'm talking about, okay? You guys all remember him. Very good job. They did a really good job of showing the threats of a Black Ring and really introducing us to the horrors that exist within the Path to Nowhere universe. And just like setting the scene for like the rest of the Path to Nowhere stories, like setting up for everything that comes after. really good job. They did a phenomenal job introducing the setting and helping us understand what the threats of this world actually are. Um, Good job. Amazing. Then we go to the carnival. People love the carnival because they love Hamill. But the carnival was kind of repetitive. And it's sort of boring. That's the best way to say it. It was just kind of boring. I'm going to say it was worse than Raging Sands. No, I said Raging Sands was like the bottom of good. And if anything was worse than Raging Sands, then it's just okay. And I'm going to stick to that. Carnival was just okay. I'm probably going to get a lot of like flack for that. People loved chapters 7 and 8. They were just head over heels for Hamill. I do not care about Hamill. This was okay for me. Nothing special. And then we went to Rustfire. I've broken Rustfire up into 2 parts. Rustfire all the way up to Chief's Coma, and then everything after Chief's Coma. So I've got like 3 chapters. I've got 9, 10, 11, and 12 rolled up into 1 part. And the second part's just chapter 13. Okay, so we're talking about the first 4 Rustfire chapters and then the last Rustfire chapter. But Rustfire all the way up to Chief's Coma was very good. I'm just going to put it in good. It was good, wasn't near perfection. It was solid. Liked everything they were doing. And then they did the after Coma stuff, and it was near perfection. Yeah. Right there. It kind of fell off the rails a little bit when they like won and they succeeded and everybody had like their heroic triumph. The heroic triumphs were a little on the nose. Like it kind of resolved a little too easily. Because like all this horrible stuff was happening. And then at the end of the chapter, they're like, we won! Yay! Everything's perfect now! And I wish they kind of neutered the perfection aspect a little bit, because that kind of like... It felt like all the bad things that happened didn't really matter, right? There was no like lasting consequences or downsides to what was happening. It just like everything resolved perfectly. And I didn't like that aspect, but everything leading up to the resolution was great. Amazing storytelling. I just wish there's I wish it wasn't so fairy tale ending. That's all. Next up is Jelena's story. We got Undercurrents. Bad. Didn't like it. Don't like Jelena. Didn't like her story. Struggled to read this. Better than Carnival. Yeah, better than the Carnival. I didn't like it. It's okay. The whole mystery ran on a little too long. There's some good twists with like Bernadette purposefully losing, but I don't know, man. There's just so much that it could have been. They stuck with the whole mystery a little too long. There's too many people playing dumb. There was not enough suspicion cast upon Jelena or to Elvira for that matter. Like there's just so much dumb happening that I couldn't really get over it. It's okay. And then last but not least, we have the most recent addition to the main story, Aurelate Regale. I don't know how to pronounce this. The Regale, okay? The Expo. I haven't finished reading this. I finished the first half. I have not gotten to the second half. So my commentary is not entirely complete yet, okay? We're mostly there, but we're not. For my like own understanding of what happened in the event. So I can only judge the first half. But the first half is very well done. I liked all the threads that they've sort of woven into the story, and I like where things are going. I'm excited to see how it all pans out, but I haven't had the time to sit down and dedicate a few hours to like finishing it. But I'm very much looking forward to it because it is good. So with me just saying that it's good Um, I want to put it in the it's good category, but putting it in the it's good category makes this whole like section a little bit too right. We suddenly made it double wide, right? I don't want to make it. Did I just make it disappear? Oh no, I accidentally put it in so bad that I don't want this good section to be double wide. Okay, so I'm gonna move something around. I'm gonna arbitrarily move something down into it's okay so that I can fit the Orale Regale into good category. And what do I just like randomly completely decide to move into it's okay? Legion, sorry, I'm just arbitrarily moving chapters 3 and 4 down to it's okay. Just to make the list look better. But yeah, that's the list. That's my opinions on the event stories. Dreamy Bubble is what made me fall in love with Path to Nowhere. Angel's event is just incredible, and her event is the reason why Angel's my second favorite center in Path of Nowhere, only beaten by Corrin, because I love Corrin's playfulness, if you can say that. And the event was just so well told, and the interactions with Hella were so good that it was a really nice event. And you can't beat Rainburst and Flora Unfurl. That whole everything to do with Rahu and Shalom is just actual perfection. You can't beat it. And then everything in the Near Perfection, it's all very stylized, and it all has very good hooks and surprises. And it did a good job with tensions between characters. And then everything in the good, very similar. It had very good stories. But everything in this good section is kind of lacking that twist, that oomph, that punch, that revelation that makes you remember the event, right? Everything in this good section doesn't have that really surprise hook twist that you're like, I can't say anything about this story, but I can't wait until you read 5-3. Okay, message me on Discord when you read 5-3. Okay, we've got things to talk about. That's not happening in good. That's happening in everything in the Near Perfection, right? When the twist happens, when like you start crying in Eve's event, you're messaging your friend in Discord. It's like, please tell me when you get to 5-3, because there are some things that I have to talk about now, and you're the only person who's going to understand. Okay, so when you get to 5-3, let me know. But you're doing that for Eve's event, okay? You're not doing that for everything in good. You're just like, yeah, it was good. Like, yeah, it was a great story. I loved it. It was great. There's no like climatic moment that you're like messaging your best friend about, right? That's not happening. Stuff in the okay. They're all okay. They either had good plots, but missed the mark, or they had bad plots but did an okay job. They're all okay. Not a fan section. The settings are bad, or like just oddly specific, where only a small portion of the audience is going to enjoy it. Or it's just way too slow or whiny. Like slow, whiny, bad setting, or at least, subjectively bad setting. I really did, like, the Glitch Wave Nihil was way too fourth wall breaky and way too on the nose. And then so bad that it turned new players away. Like, these two are actually bad stories, and I'm like, oh man, I was like embarrassed to show people Path of Nowhere when these two events were live, right? Like, new players join to like Eddie's events, and they're like, so this is what Path of Nowhere is all about, and I'm just like, oh, okay, hear me out. Wait for the next event, okay? Like, just ignore this current event. I promise this doesn't happen often. And the same thing with Into the Blue, right? Somebody, brand new player, opens up Into the Blue and they start reading, and they're like, this is the game that everyone said had an amazing story. Like, my friend was playing through Dreamy Bubble, and he said it was the best story ever. Like, they said that summer events were good. But here I am joining on a summer event, and this shit is trash. Like, you lost some players with Into the Blue, okay? Like, these two were so bad that I was embarrassed to recommend the game at this time, right? It was rough. But, yeah, it's tier list. Hope you guys agree. Let me know if I said anything crazy. Let me know if there's anything unfortunate on this list, but I think I did a pretty good job. I'm very confident with all those ratings. Yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.